Coming up, the world's richest man appears to be getting further and further out of touch with sanity every time he appears in public. But from his ongoing attacks on the British government, his blatant promotion of hate speech through doctored algorithms on X, Twitter, his financial interference through vote buying in the US elections, and his full-throated support for Donald Trump and the Make America Great Again movement, Elon Musk appears to be not just the richest, but also the most politically influential man on the planet. Stay tuned. Elon Musk, Space Karen, Apartheid Clyde, call him what you want, but the world's richest man is desperate for Donald Trump to serve a second term as President of the USA. Fresh from his latest attack on the UK's Labour government as being far left and of interfering in the US election, the South African Musk is now giving away millions of dollars to voters in US election swing states in return for registering to vote and for signing a petition tied to his political action committee supporting Donald Trump. Elon Musk is now facing criminal charges by the Philadelphia prosecutor in the swing state of Pennsylvania, a state crucial to Trump's path back to the White House. True to form, Musk failed to show up to a required court appearance this week and now risks being held in contempt of court. To date, Musk has donated north of $75 million to help get Trump re-elected, and now he's giving away a cheque for $1 million every day from now until the election to any voters signing up to support Trump. Blatant vote buying. But Musk doesn't care. He doesn't think the rules apply to him. And the potential personal rewards for him, should Trump regain power, clearly make any risks and financial outlay completely worth it. Musk, through his various companies, already has several multi-billion-dollar contracts with the US government, and Trump has already offered him the job of Secretary of Cost-Cutting should the White House turn orange in January. In addition, Musk sees in Trump the possibility for removing the remaining restrictions on his social media platform X, formerly Twitter, covering subjects such as hate speech, defamation, disinformation and misinformation. Musk is a free speech absolutist and feels he should be free to hate on anyone, spread whatever disinformation he chooses, and make up lies about anyone he doesn't care for without repercussions or responsibility. The direction of travel of Twitter since the Musk takeover has been very clear, with conspiracy theories and right-wing hate speech proliferating on the platform. As a result, in the UK, X has experienced a significant decline in active daily users, dropping from 8 million to around 5.6 million in the past year alone. This decrease has been particularly sharp since Elon Musk's controversial posts about the fascist riots in the UK earlier this year. So around a third of the platform's active user base in the UK have already left the platform, and that figure is just going to get worse for Musk. I stopped using the platform some weeks ago except to post a weekly link to my YouTube videos. Now, it's sad to lose those 6,000 followers I had, but I've now deactivated my X account completely. Seeing a pinned post promoting the hard right-wing so-called entertainment channel GB News when I last logged into X is just not something I'm prepared to accept as a user. Like me, many former Twitter users are migrating to alternatives like BLUESKY, which has seen a massive surge in popularity here in the UK. And there's further bad news from Europe for Musk. He's looking at a massive fine as European regulators look at including revenues from his entire business empire to calculate a potential fine against his social media platform. Under the European Union's Digital Services Act, companies that fail to curb illegal content and disinformation face penalties of up to 6% of their annual global turnover. And the European Commission is considering including revenue from Musk's other businesses such as Neuralink and SpaceX when calculating that 6% fine on turnover. The EU wants to impose fines that are high enough to make the belligerent billionaire sit up and take notice and prevent X from repeatedly breaking the law, allowing and even promoting the spread of illegal content and disinformation, in particular terrorist and violent content. Whether even a fine of 6% of all global turnover would make Musk comply with the rule of law is another question altogether. His recent antics on the campaign trail with Trump suggest an individual who's actually lost his mind, that is no longer a rational human being, obsessed with a worldview, allowing him unfettered freedom to do and say what he wants with complete immunity from any consequences. He believes another Trump administration would mean a dramatic burst of deregulation in the US and globally. That's why Musk has ploughed millions into Republican campaigns and used his 202 million follower X account as a megaphone, aided and amplified by his twisted and biased algorithms to promote Trump and the fascistic MAGA movement. Marina Hyde, writing in The Guardian recently, had this to say: "There have been vested interests as long as there has been US politics, of course, but no robber baron of the Gilded Age was ever this relatively rich or as artlessly open about what and whom a relatively tiny amount of money can buy. The power and reach of Elon Musk is beyond the wildest dreams of Rupert Murdoch and should be viewed as incredibly dangerous by those of us who believe in democracy, equality, and a fourth estate that is there to hold those in power to account, not to amplify misinformation, hate, and bias." Tesla and SpaceX seem to go from strength to strength, giving Musk ever-increasing money, influence, and power. The only good news concerns Musk's acquisition of Twitter. Not just the massive reduction in the number of active users in the UK, covered earlier in this video, but also the sharply reduced spending on the platform by advertisers. Musk has sacked about 80% of Twitter employees, and the platform is no longer worth anywhere near the $44 billion that Space Karen paid for it just 2 years ago. The plunge in value is a result of the damage done to its advertising revenue, as advertisers were scared off by the rise in controversial content on the platform. Adverts from global brands and household names were appearing juxtaposed alongside far-right hate speech, racist and misogynist content promoted by the Elon Musk mandated algorithms, pushing such content into the timelines of every user of the platform. Globally, traffic on X is still down on the numbers on Twitter before the Musk takeover, but it is showing some signs of slow growth more recently. However, advertisers still shy away from the platform, concerned that their products and services will appear alongside the reinstated accounts of such people as far-right activist Stephen Yaxley Lennon, misogynist influencer and sex trafficker Andrew Tate, US conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, the Sandy Hook school shooting denier, or even Orange Hitler himself. It's this fear that led to investment group Fidelity recently writing down the value of its small stake in X, with an implication that the platform now has a value of only $9.4 billion, little more than a fifth of what the toddler libertarian Elon Musk paid for it. It also has a debt burden of $13 billion. But with his $270 billion fortune, Musk can afford to lose $35 billion. But does he really want to keep losing billions just to ensure a public profile and a megaphone for his putrid political views? I think that question is probably tied to his multi-million-dollar foreign US election interference and whether his personal support for Donald Trump pays off at the US presidential election next week. With a Harris presidency, his future ambitions for power without responsibility or liability would surely be curbed. Only with Trump in the White House does it seem to me that those billions invested in Twitter actually make sense for Musk, who could then see a return on investment measured in unfettered power to influence the political landscape on a global scale. And the last word to Elon Musk himself, who, when asked why he was so supportive of Trump, had this to say: "I fear if Trump does not win, we are going to have a single-party state that is going to be like California, but actually worse." That's the dystopian nightmare in Musk's brain that he's urging American voters to be terrified about. That to become more like the most successful state in the USA, in terms of its economy, innovation and technology, agriculture, cultural influence and environmental protection standards, that somehow is something that the rest of the USA should be terrified of and vote against in favour of an elderly man in cognitive decline who idolises the likes of dictators like President Xi, Putin, Orban and Kim Jong-un. Now that is truly unhinged.
Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.